I'm Dr. Josef. Today I'm going to be responding to questions that people have sent me, and I'm also going to be introducing a new way to contact me and ask me questions, and I'm going to get into that later on in this video.
What does it mean when you are trying to reduce sertraline 25 milligrams to 12.5 milligrams a day and you get jolts in your arms and in the heart area and myoclonic like jolts?
Well, I'm sorry that's happening to you, but it means that you're tapering too quickly. So at that range of sertraline, that's getting to the lower doses, you're much more likely to have side effects. You have two options. You could do smaller reductions here. So you could do, maybe every 2 weeks or something, you drop down by 5% or 10%. Or you could also do a daily liquid micro taper. And I'm going to put a link to a video right here where you can go and watch a tutorial on how to do that micro taper. And if you come down slower and more gradually, you're not going to have those electric shock sensations.
Hi from Germany. I got a question. I've been on diazepam 150 milligrams for 8 years, 2 years before 25 milligrams of lorazepam. Now I have a question. I am, of course, in absolute tolerance. I went down to 4 milligram too fast, up dose to 30, trying to stabilize. What would you think about switching to clonazepam?
Okay, so that cut off there, but I have some general recommendation, and that is that I think you should usually try and taper on the drug that you're used to, and then you want to taper down just gradually. I mean, Valium is a good drug to taper off because it's so long acting and it doesn't cause, and because of that, you don't have interdose withdrawal. And so I would just gradually come down off the medication at a rate of 5 to 10% a month. And if you stick with that rate, you should be okay.
When tapering Xanax after 30 years, I'd like to know what symptoms are common and uncommon.
So ideally, after tapering Xanax for 30 years, if you do it correctly, you're not going to have a lot of bad symptoms, right? So this drug taper might take you 2 to 3 years to complete, maybe even longer. And if you do it carefully, you may be able to not experience many symptoms at all. The common withdrawal symptoms would be things like anxiety and insomnia, and the uncommon problems would be things like bind, neurological damage, numbness, tingling in your hands and feet, ear ringing, light sensitivity. The hope is that you just really slowly come off over a long period of time. You don't have any of that. If you do it that slowly, you're giving your brain ample time to adjust to the drug being taken out and to regrow its pathways. And yeah, if you do it correctly, I think there could be minimal problems coming off.
It's been 6 years ago since I've stopped taking psychiatric drugs. I've been using it for 23 years and over 40 different kinds. And I'm still very ill, especially a lot of brain fog. And I was wondering, can brain fog become better? And what can I do to help this process?
Well, thank you for reaching out to me. A lot of these symptoms do resolve gradually over time. And so, I mean, when I look at, you want to hear your story, I think about neurological dysfunction, protracted withdrawal. And what I see, at least from my cohort of patients, is they're gradually improving over time. And the time course varies. I see some people who have improved by 2 years, some people by 7 years, and I have some people who are still improving, 10 to 11 years out. And essentially, it's just giving your brain enough time to recover. Now, how do you know how long it's going to take? So if you were a patient of mine, I would say, well, talk to me about the trajectory. Are other symptoms going away? If other symptoms are improving, then it's likely the brain fog may eventually improve as well. If you have periods of brain fog which are less now, windows where it's disappeared, that's also a sign that your brain is able to kind of regulate and get rid of it. And that would be promising that more of that is going to happen later on. So you want to look at those signs that it's resolving. But fortunately, it can take a long time. I'm sorry that happened to you.
You've said withdrawal is essentially a brain injury. What do you think is happening on a physiological level that causes this injury? And if a brain injury, Why do you think typical brain scans like an MRI or CT scan doesn't show this for the many who've seen neurologists?
Yeah, really great question. So what do I think is happening inside? This is pure speculation from me. I actually don't know. Maybe there is something about this, high anxiety, excitatory state when people come off the SSRIs and the benzos, which is just neurotoxic. It's damaging the neurons in some ways. Why doesn't this turn up on brain scans? The site of injury may be not large enough, to be detected. There may not be enough changes in the gray and the white matter structures to really detect it. But also, that's the truth is maybe it could be detected. I just don't think anyone's ever done like a big MRI study where they got 20 people with protracted withdrawal and scanned their brains and then compared it to matched controls of healthy brains. Potentially there could be some signature changes in the white and the gray matter. From my patients who have had really bad protracted withdrawal injury from benzos, some of them have ended up getting, punch biopsies to look for small fiber neuropathy, and they've had terrible small fiber neuropathy. And so I do think there are some biological changes that happen with these injuries as well. But thank you. And so as I mentioned at the start of the video, we're shutting down the speakpipe, and there's going to be a new way to send me questions. Look in the description below this video, and that you're going to see 3 different links to a platform, to a Vloggy platform. One of them is going to be a link where you can share your questions. You can just simply ask a question to me and I'll respond to it. The next one is going to be one where I'd like you to share your story. And so if you've had a drug injury story that you want to share on the channel, you could put it in there. And the third one is going to be an application for an interview with me. Maybe you want to explore your story further. You want to discuss it. There's something unique about it that you haven't seen on the channel. You could put in an application to be interviewed on this channel. And so I love engaging with you guys over this content. Thank you for sending me all this stuff. So I would love it if you would check out some of those links on different ways to share your story and engage with the channel.